is I don't know.
That's scary for me as a parent.
Excuse me, let me finish my answer. I didn't interrupt your question. I don't know, and that's why you collect data. How much time are we going to spend on youngsters who have connectivity issues? It better not be a lot of time, because if it ends up being a lot of time, then the pilot may show us that it's not a program that we're interested in continuing. My suggestion is that if and I respect what you said about your desire for your youngsters to have social interaction. Therefore, I would support your decision not to send the device to school. What I'm concerned about is I don't necessarily want you to have veto power over his decision to send his youngster to school. So most of what you asked is data that we'll collect. We do know other school systems have done this. Other school systems in New Hampshire have done this. And some of the things that we're all going to watch haven't been issues for them. But they could be issues for us. But we don't know. We really don't know.
Could you provide access to those findings from those other programs? Because I'd be interested in reading what they have written up on those programs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if they have data on those.
There's loads of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, why don't you give Matt your email address and he'll shoot some stuff off to you.
Yeah, definitely. We've had some larger school districts. We've had conversations with, local school districts and their superintendents about the programs. So I'd be glad to share some of that with you. Yeah, absolutely. And I can, specifically at a couple of questions in the network, all the traffic is filtered the same as it is our internal network. So as far as our filter that we have in place, URL filter, the devices go through the same internet filter. So that, it's filtered the same as anything internal on our network.
So also being in IT, those aren't perfect.
Oh, there's ways around them, and actually, the 8th graders are very helpful in showing me. And I've been able to make a lot of changes to the filter with some friends in 8th grade because they know what they're doing. These kids are smart. So, yeah. Anything else that we can? Yeah.
What other school districts locally? You said you've worked with other larger school districts locally. I'm curious which ones specifically. Or
Yeah, grade level wise, I'm not sure what their plan is for their pilot. I think it's either Hopkinton or I think it's Hopkinton that's doing their rollout. Is actually I believe starting at their elementary school. I think they're elementary and middle as well. But I can definitely clarify that. Bow School District has been doing this since 2007, and it's just, if students wish to bring their own device to take notes in a classroom, they see the technology department and they sign the agreement, and they're allowed to use that as a personal learning tool. Their Oyster River School District also has a bring your own device program. So there's just a few of ones that I can think off the top of my head. Dwight?
I know that you're not responsible for the security of Johnny's device, but if he brings in a laptop, I don't see him bringing that out to recess with him. So what do we do during that? Is there going to be any place where we can store these things during recess or when they're not being used?
Yeah, good question. So I think that, in a lot of ways is going to be, as we work with the teachers to find out where's the safe place, talk to the parents, what are you comfortable with? And that's something that, I don't know what it looks like in each school building. I think it's different, obviously at the lower elementary. And I don't know if there's anything at the building levels that you guys can think of that I might not be as far as, what happens if they go outside. And
well, and I think, Matt, you're saying that, in all three schools it looks different. 2nd grade and 5th grade, I mean, there's storage areas in the rooms, the different cubbies, et cetera, right. And that would have to be something that we establish with the classroom teachers rolling it out and then taking a look at what devices we're talking about. I think once we get to the middle school level, the students have their lockers are right in the homerooms themselves. So those lockers, you know, the homeroom teacher is there during off time. So if a student is going to lunch or recess, and what they're going to do is, well, not recess in this building, but if they're going to go to lunch, they're putting, you know, that device right into their locker, and it can be stored safely there. And the school does have, I think we still have, combination locks that we can loan out to students if they so, if they want to actually lock their lockers. But we haven't had students lock their lockers other than in the gym for ever. So they might have thought that.
As
Yeah.
a parent whose child does not have a device, going forward, and like you say, in many avenues, whether this campus is being successful pilot or not, how do I as a parent decide which device to get?
Good question. I had a couple of those phone calls actually last week, and I wouldn't, you know, suggest one over the other for you because it's something you're investing in personally, and it's got to be a tool that you know your son or daughter is comfortable with, and so you know I want to be careful not to say this is what you need to buy because
Right, I don't even know where to start. I mean, like we have a computer, but that's the
Sure.
extent of carrying around things.
yeah, and you know I could help with some suggestions probably.
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't. Okay, I'm not allowed to. I'm sorry.
Part of, and we've
Best Buy?
we've talked about this.
Yeah.
In the planning stage, like, what do we do if a parent says, what would you recommend? I'm going, don't you recommend
Right.
anything?
I'm trying to be nice, but
One of the things you might want to do is cautiously let us roll it out, get some idea what youngsters are bringing and how effective those tools are. Because as we stand here right now, remember that what this really is a change in the rules. Right now, the rules of the school district are you cannot bring in electronic devices to school. So we're really, I think we shouldn't have even given it a name. I think we should have just said, you can now bring your device to school.
right.
So we don't know on a personal level which devices youngsters are gonna feel are more valuable than others. And it's gonna be very much an individual decision. I sit at meetings with school administrators, and it's funny because as you look around the table, where were we when I made that point the other day? Was it a board meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a board meeting I had in Auburn. And we were sitting around the table at a board meeting, and when we were talking about BYOD, and some people had an iPad in front of them, and some people had a laptop, and I'm gonna tell you, you would not pry my iPad out of my hands. And I seldom use my laptop. And I have a desktop at home that now I never use. And what I use is the tablet. I'm not sure when I look at the people I work with, whether that's the best device for them. And some of them sit where they are with a laptop in front of them. So I would, this is a lot of money.
Yeah, you know, trial and error.
Right.
I would sort of like go easy. See what comes into school. See how that piece of technology would enhance your child's learning. If it won't, don't buy anything. You know, don't buy anything. We have technology in the schools. You know, those are not going. We do have a supply of iPads in every school, so that when we're going to do a classroom activity, like that requires technology, we're not going to depend on your youngster having his own piece of technology. Your youngster's going to use our technology. I don't want a poor teacher to have 25 kids in a classroom and be running around on a class project trying to deal with 25 different pieces of technology. When we do learning activities like that, we'll either use our mobile lab, we'll take kids into a computer lab, or we'll bring our iPads into the classroom.
Yeah.
But I would go very cautious. This is big bucks, and if you wait a month, there's something better out there than there was out there today. But I'd talk to my youngster and say, you know, our kid's bringing anything. October 18th, we might go into classrooms and go, I don't see anything in here. You know,
Yeah.
parents may just say, you know what, I don't want it to fall on the bus. I don't want it to get stolen. I don't want my kid glued to a device as opposed to going out at recess and playing tag or whatever. But I would sort of wait. And in the interim, if you're at the mall, walk into the Apple store. If you're, I shouldn't say the Apple store.
Yeah, you're not allowed to.
If you're in the mall, walk into the Microsoft store. Or Best Buy, or Walmart, or any place these things are displayed.
I think it would be helpful if we knew when, how, and for what reason these things are going to be used. Is it just going to be browsing the internet, doing searches, you know, being able to contribute to the class? Or are they actually going to be doing assignments? You just said that they weren't going to be doing like lab assignments with these devices, so it wouldn't help to make sure, for instance, that we had the same you know, Microsoft Word software or whatever it is that you're using, if it's, you know, presentation on Apple or what have you. But if we knew a little bit more about how, when, and why, or for what reason these things are going to be used, then it would help us to figure out which one to bring.
And
I think that right now we should be discouraging. I may be wrong. I have been known to be wrong on several occasions. But I wouldn't encourage any purchase right now at all. The real purpose of this rollout is, if you have something at home and you're using it, you're able to bring it to school.
So how will those devices be used, and when, and is there a curriculum? Or is it,
No.
like you said, just an
No.
infrastructure support change and a rule change?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Matt.
yeah.
It may be that